edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. There we go. That's going to be a little better, a little easier to hear. And we welcome you in here on a Tuesday to Quaker Steak Lube, our home away from home. We love being here on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. You can come on down and join us. You can enjoy some great food, great beverage, and get some great service as well right here at Quaker Steak and Lube in State College. Again, our show airs from 2 to 4 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. All right, we welcome in here, and we are unbelievably in high school football week. I'm still just having trouble getting my head around where we are right now in terms of the stage of the year. I love it. I love the fact that we have high school football here in our area. We'll have the Center County Red Zone airing from 7 to 10 this Friday night and every Friday night throughout the high school football season. And we'll bounce around from all of the Center County games. We'll have reporters at all of those games. And then we'll also have updates on other games of interest from around the area and throughout the state. Tried an experiment with that red zone concept last year. Got a lot of positive feedback. We had a lot of fun doing it. So we are going to launch season 2 of the Center County Red Zone here on Friday night. Of course, a week from Saturday, the Nittany Lions open up their season at West Virginia, and a noon kickoff there. And then another week after that, we're full-fledged into football season with high school, college, and NFL action. Meaningful, real games that count on the standings and everything. NFL action moving forward. So lots to look forward to here in the coming weeks. And here in central Pennsylvania, we're getting at least a little taste of fall this week. Temperatures are supposed to be down into the low 40s tonight here.
Sleeping weather, buddy.
State College. Wow. That is hard to believe. We're down here at Quaker Steak and Lube. If you'd like to come down, well, anytime is a great idea. But at 3 o'clock this afternoon, Council Rock Newtown, the Pennsylvania representative in the Little League World Series, will be taking on the team from Hawaii in a third straight elimination game for Pennsylvania. They, of course, won the last 2, or we wouldn't have a game for them coming up here at 3. But it's another elimination game against Hawaii here this afternoon, and they'll have that for you on the TVs here at Quaker Steak and Lube if you are so interested. And it's been interesting because they got blown out in that first game to Texas 9-0. Then they bounced back with a 5-0 victory, then a 12-2 rain delay, 4-inning mercy roll matchup on Sunday. I was reading a story, I forget now if it was late last night or early this morning, but that they are basically relying on their bullpen today, that their first 2 pitchers. Now, what I don't know, and I didn't see in the story I read, I have no idea if Hawaii, are they throwing their ace? Are they also down to third and fourth guys in their rotation? If Little League teams have rotations, but so it'll be interesting. Might need to get the bats going the way they did on Sunday in order to win today's game.
What, do you know the rule?
We looked it up this morning, actually, on our show, because I didn't know the rule, and Scott asked. And actually, I might even still have it on the phone, but it's 85. I know you are not allowed to pitch if you've thrown 85 pitches. I think it's 4 days rest that you need. And then there are ranges, and I want to say it's trying to remember if it was 55 maybe, or maybe it was 65 to 80 or whatever it would be. You needed 3 days rest, and then down to, I think if you throw 20 or fewer pitches, you're good to go the next day.
Purely pitch count and then days rest.
And correct. Yep. And so the two guys they had over the weekend are
So they played
not able to pitch.
Thursday.
And I'm guessing, what's that?
They played Thursday.
Yeah, but I don't know if that guy went.
You didn't go too
I
long.
didn't read enough details to know. Well, but there's a certain. There are limits as well. So, like, if he pitched Thursday, and I don't know if he came in relief or anything on Sunday. I just know they said that the top two pitchers that they have are not available, that they cannot pitch in today's game, and that they were going to be relying on the bullpen. And again, it may very well be that Hawaii's in the exact same situation. I don't know their situation. But anyways, that game is coming up at 3:00 in not Williamsport, but South Williamsport this afternoon.
What does that mean?
Those games are played in South Williamsport. Everybody always puts it as Williamsport.
Okay. I thought it was
the
like
town is actually South Williamsport.
I know there's multiple stadiums. I was like, wait, there's a whole different. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little north. Williamsport is, but
and again, if we've ever gone, Jeff, we'd have an understanding, but we don't. We never have.
I
blame you.
I've
been here visiting your town. Jeez, 30-some years now. Living here. I was visiting before that. I mean, geez, Jeff.
I hear you.
Yeah. Well,
got to do better. Got to be better. Something like that.
Yeah, it's great. And then we have a history of Michigan football on the right television up here. I want to go. I don't know. BB gun, shotgun. I don't know what I want to put up there. Something I want to throw up there.
Yeah, no Penn State Michigan game to worry about this year. Well, no Penn State Michigan regular season game to worry about this year. Stay tuned, I suppose. We could have the Nittany Lions and the Wolverines with even more on the line meeting in December.
Wow.
You never know.
Would be interesting. Could definitely happen. Could definitely not happen. Chances are, no. I did see that Brett McMurphy has us at LSU for the first weekend and I'm like, we're 9 and they're 8. I'm like, we can't flip that.
Can't happen.
I'm telling you, Head. I would rather lose a game and host a playoff game because I just want to see a Southern team up here than to actually have a bye. Is that a little screwy?
Yeah, but what if they end up getting play Rutgers or Michigan or there's no guarantee that you're getting a Southern team up here. You might get another. You might get a more Northern team.
I'm telling you, I got an idea that they're going to screw because that article we saw a couple months ago when the guy was like, well, weather and hotels and airfare are going to play into it. And you're like, what does that mean? We never got those answers, did we?
Well,
there's too much going on.
I mean, all of that stuff has to figure in. But when you look at the additional hotel space that's available, and again, Penn State is hosting 7 games throughout the regular seasons, and they're accommodating everybody one way or another.
You'd think.
And listen, like an hour drive, I mean, I know it's not ideal, but that is like to get to the Rose Bowl. If you're 5 miles away, that's an hour's drive.
An hour and a half, yeah.
So I mean, it's not like people go to big events and don't have a bit of a drive or a bit. So I just don't. I don't think that's going to prevent Penn State from
I think it's the NCAA. Actually, they won't have any pull in this, right? It's college football playoff, right? Is it the television who owns it, or is it the NCAA? See, this is what we don't even know. Isn't that crazy? Who was hosting this? The college football playoffs or the NCAA? Well, what I'm saying is the question is like it's going to be a corporate thing, so they want to have all these hotels. They want their corporate people in the high-end hotels, and they have high-end hotels here, but they're not all of them are high-end.
Yeah.
I think that's where they're getting at.
I think it's a non-issue.
I think it's a non-issue also.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be something that prevents Penn State.
And they're talking about weather possibly being an issue because they bring up Baltimore or the Buffalo Bills, and I'm like,
I think they're just saying you have to have contingency plans in place. That yes, if you, but I mean, you have to do that anyway, like that. So I don't know. The fact that if it's cold and people have to drive away for a hotel, Penn State's still hosting the game. Like, barring horrendous weather, where it really is going to be virtually impossible for folks to get up to the stadium, and we just have not had winters like that around here.
Jeff, you're talking to a guy who's never gotten a good thing from the NCAA.
Well, I hear you. I don't think. I think this is truly a non.
I'm that pessimist when it comes to the NCAA of what they're going to do, what they're going to say, and some kind of bullcrap. Like, hey, you guys are the 5th-ranked team in the country, but now that I'm trying to do the timetable, so the championship is Saturday, and then Sunday will be the college football playoff selection day.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll be the 14th, 13th. So the 14th of December is when 7th of December is when they'll make that decision and stuff like that. So you got 2 weeks to get everything set. So you're not sitting there with a week to go, trying to rush around. You got 2 weeks to figure it out because we won't know if, depending on how the playoff games go or the championship games go, excuse me. And how about that? I mean, they really should have gotten rid of that, but I'm sure that they were contractually obligated to do at least another one, maybe two of the championship games. It's pointless. It truly is. Don't you think?
It's not. They're going to be short-lived.
Yeah, but I just think that they made a TV contract. I think that they had.
I think this
that they have to play through that.
That's right.
That's not the plan going forward. Oh my goodness gracious.
Because it's just not going. I think if anything, you're just going to get another few games added to the playoffs, right? Get 16 teams in there and have it seeded. Everybody plays every week. I think that is much more likely than having championship games, conference championship games remain.
Yeah,
because it really just it puts everybody. It would be like having each division in the NFL have a championship game to determine who goes
right.
Well, you've already played all of these games. You don't need that. Just go to the playoffs and then let it sort out there. And I haven't heard or seen anybody think that's not what's going to happen with college football. That the championship games will.
When we get rid of them
this year,
when they get rid of, that's a whole extra week that we can move the college football playoff back another week. I would think. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you 13th and 14th that weekend, and
right.
See, we talked about. Jeff and I had a little trip this weekend. We went down to Harrisburg on Friday, so we were talking. And one of my questions was, okay, so I'm Penn State, I'm Oregon, I'm LSU, I'm Florida State. I make the playoffs, but I lose in the first round. You don't have a bowl game. So those, what is there? Going to be 4 games? Is that what it is? It's 12 teams.
Well, there's this year.
Yeah. So there's 4 games on December 20th and 21st. 20th, there's 1 game and 3 on the 21st. So the losers of those games, their season is over. There's no reward, no bowl game. You're not going to Florida.
Are the reward.
Oh, I get you. But in my head, I'm sitting there thinking, yes, I know that the college football world was different than when I played, but you know what? I sort of look forward to, as a player, that was our reward, was that bowl game. Going away to, a little more exotic place in State College, Central Pennsylvania, let's just say. We'd be happy to go down to Florida, Arizona, or California, no doubt. But those 4 teams are not going to have that.
They will be able to.
I'm sure they're going to be able to afford to go wherever they want.
Yes, that's exactly where I was going to go.
The more I think about it is because, again, like I said, it's a different time than when I played. But I know that I definitely used that bowl money that I had gotten as my, it was supposed to be for bowl money, but when you're broke, you try to hoard as much money as you possibly can. So that was a thing where we could actually make some money when we were in college. But now it's
the per diems that the teams get when they travel. I mean, that's the same thing. It's like, well, can I just maybe skip a meal or pack a few things that I right? I mean, it is a whole different world.
When I tell a story about Joe, people are like, how would he be handling the NIL? And I would say, well, honest to God, I'm going to tell you right now that Joe would do, and you've heard me say this 1,000 times, Joe will do everything in his power to get his players money legally. Right? And he was the guy pushing for stipends back in the 70s and 80s.
I was just going to say.
If they had just done a lot of things that he had said, we wouldn't be in these issues right now. So the way our bowl system, not our bowl system, but the way our bowl packages work, so Joe, after 92, realized that, after 91, excuse me, because that's when the whole team used to fly out together. But then in 92, there was a rule where the school can pay a player to travel from their hometown. So what ended up happening is they give you a first-class ticket. So when I played in, say, 1994, we played in the Rose Bowl. We'll say 93, I played in the Orlando. We played in the Citrus Bowl in 1993. So you got a first-class ticket from your hometown, so for your local airport. So Philadelphia to Orlando, it was, say, $820.
Yeah.
You got a check for that. You could keep that flight, take that flight, or if you found a cheaper flight, you could keep the difference. And that's how a lot of us lived in the second semester was, making that kind of like $1,000 back in 1995 to a college kid.
Yeah.
That was a ton of money, man. I mean, it was big time money. And then you get out there and then, when you're on a bowl trip, you get fed breakfast because then in the afternoons, you get done practice, you have lunch, and then you are at one of the amusement parks. So they have all kinds of food for you there. They have lunch for you there. They're going to have a dinner for you there. And they're also giving you a stipend for meal money. But you're like, wait, all my meals are paid for. It's dumb. But, hey, what are you going to say? No? So it's a little fun money. So I under the Rose Bowl, I made about $1,300. And I lived like a king the second semester of 1994.
Well, here's something I was thinking about, too. And I'm sure I'm not the first one to think of this. I just I haven't seen it anywhere, and it's probably all over the place. So I'm not giving myself any kind of credit here. But one of the things I was just thinking about this. I'm involved with just some things coming up with the wrestling program. They have their wrestling, the golf tournament next week, and we have an event we're doing the evening before, and then the week after that.
Is Kale going to win for the 15th year in a row?
We're going down to Harrisburg. But one of the things I don't know if he's playing this year. I think last year he ended up just meeting and greeting. But yes, it got to be he would bring in some ringers, and yes, Kale is very competitive, if you're not aware.
No.
And he's not a golfer, but he wants to win. His name's going to be out there.
He could have three guys in his team who can play golf very, very well.
Very, very well.
Garrett Bastardi is probably normally number one.
But some others, then they ended up, the Bastardis were going, I guess.
Joe couldn't handle it.
It got
unbelievable.
It got very competitive.
Classic weatherman.
But, so I was thinking about this coming back from one of the discussions, and not with wrestling, but it got me to thinking about on the football side of things.
Huh?
We talk about all the different ways that college football, that the athletes, that fans, everybody else is impacted. But one of the things that I haven't heard discussed or seen discussed is I think we have talked about players may end up making more money in their college career as a player than they do at any other point in their life. Now, that's going to be very much the exception because most guys that are going to be pulling in that kind of money are going to go on, and that's going to translate to the next level of football.
Yeah.
But what about do you think there's a chance that we see fewer guys going out early to the draft? Because it's like, well, okay, I think I might be a third or a fourth round pick. I'm definitely going to be drafted, but I might be third or fourth. Well, I'm getting, and again, we got to see how the money shakes out here over the years.
Sure.
But if you're getting,
I think an easier way,
$100,000 a year just from the deal with the networks and the university, but then you get another $1 million, right, in the endorsement deals that you work out for yourself or more. Like there is going to be a point there where it's like, I think I'm better off spending another year here at my college, banking this that is assured, because you're not assured. And again, if you're, man, I'm going to be the number one pick or one of the top three. Okay, yeah.
Honest to God, it's an easier argument if you talk about basketball, because it's a lot easier to talk about basketball because basketball skills, college skills, a lot of times don't transition to NBA skills. So, like the dude from Purdue, the 7
Zach Edey, yeah.
You know what I mean? How is he not the number one? He's the number one overall player in college basketball for 2 years, and he was barely even in the top 10 pick. He was actually he dropped out of the draft last year. But there's a guy who there's a lot of guys like him who know, but he'll play in the NBA for 15 years because he's that big and he can go in there and get rebounds.
Yeah, but if you are like, there's going to be, if you are the star quarterback, like there may be people now that tell you, no, I knew Patrick Mahomes was going to be this, but you didn't, and he didn't. He might have believed in himself, and there might be people out there that are like, no, this is the next future star. But none of us know with any great, 100% certainty, especially a quarterback, that, yep, that guy's going to translate at the next level. You have a good idea, sometimes really good idea.
Here we go.
But sometimes not.
Will Levis.
Well, but if you are, Patrick Mahomes at Kansas State, right? Like, are you, or Texas Tech, are you going to, in this era, if you are the guy at a smaller, even a Power 4 school, but a one that isn't Alabama, Georgia, Penn State, Ohio State, if you are the star in that town and you're getting 20 companies saying, man, here you go, endorse us, do a commercial for this group and that group, are you more likely to, you know what, I'm going to stay here and be the star and rake in the guaranteed money that I have coming in, rather than, even if, man, I know I can be a star at the next level, but if they're going to make me a third or a fourth round pick, like, even I hear what you're saying in terms of translating with basketball, but there's a lot of guys that, and they may even know, I'm kind of borderline, like, I'm right, I'm 5'10" and I run a 4.5 40, but I'm the star running back and they keep feeding me the ball at, Rutgers. Well, the game may not translate to the NFL, but I may be the star rushing for big time yardage at the collegiate level. It'll be interesting to see how some of that shakes out if there aren't more guys that say, yeah, I'm going to hang another year, even though I think I could even, possibly get into the second round of the NFL draft, depending on what the situation is. They have, football or basketball.
But what if a guy does know that he definitely does, like, okay, I'll take my position. If, say, you come from a predominantly running college who runs the football a lot, that does not translate well in the NFL. It's a pass-happy league. It is what it is. You got to be able to move your feet. You got to be able to pass block and stuff like that. Yeah. You can be a road grader all you want, but you still got to be able to pass block in the NFL. So when do we get to the point where a guy says, I'm suing to stay in school? Like, hey, I can take classes. Yeah, I'll take classes. I mean, the way it is, you go until you graduate, and then you take graduate classes, and you can keep doing that. But I mean, why can't you go for your? Is it going to get to the point where it's like, hey, I want to stay here and get my PhD, and it's good for the university because you're a good guy, good teammate. You're playing with 28. It'll 28-year-old teammate.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, I don't know from a legal standpoint. I don't know. I don't know what the.
Well, I mean, the NCAA will make the right call, of course. As
no doubt about that.
They will make the perfect call.
It would seem to me that you can put eligibility limits on that. Hey, traditionally it is 4 years. We give the extra year with the red shirt, but
and a medical
from a legal standpoint, I don't know what the courts would look at and what all may or may not come into play there in terms of.
Now, you have talked about
demanding that they be permitted another year ago.
Players becoming employees. That's the biggest thing that you've been watching on these lawsuits and stuff like that. Now, I'm sitting there and say you hurt your back in college. You couldn't play football anymore, so you had to retire from the game. And you dealing with that the rest of your life. I mean, that could be a debilitating injury to the point where you might be in a wheelchair. Or by the time you're 50 years old, is there we could trace this injury back to college. It happened while he was playing football or practicing or weightlifting, or he was an employee at Penn State University.
I do think that's one of the things that is going to occur here is that the athletes, are going to have to buy some sort of medical insurance from I don't know, from a university set group anyway, if not the university itself. I mean, the university has provided that, right? The medical training and the doctors and all of that.
So,
but if you are saying the long-term care needs to be, and I don't think it's an unreasonable thing. Again,
no,
somehow this has got to be collectively bargained, and I still
who's bargaining for the kids.
That to me is still one of the more significant hurdles. Is how do you go about on behalf of the student athletes collectively bargaining? Because that may be one of the things in terms of the 4 or 5 years, 5 years to use 4 years of eligibility. I don't know if that's one of the things that can be bargained or not. It's like, well, listen, you're already allowing us to play, 4 games and retain redshirt status. Just make it, we can play 5 years. Well, then can you take a year off for injury? So it's now going to be, like, you can see how quickly this could escalate to, everybody now gets to play 5 years, and you have 6 years to use those 5 years of eligibility. I don't think that's that far-fetched, given where we're at right now, right now, if a kid can play 4 games as a freshman, true freshman, and then breaks his leg the following spring, breaks his leg the following August and misses that entire season, right? Then you have the medical red shirt, so you still have 4 years of eligibility remaining at that point. Well, again, so what we're really talking about is, can you add a couple of more games in that first year? Probably. What at the end of the day, maybe not the whole season, maybe 6. Well, maybe 8. Let's bargain for 8. Well,
that's
what
4.
If you sit 3 games out? You play
regular season games, by the way. Your playoff, the playoff game and the Big Ten title game do not count towards those games. So you can actually play in 7 games and still retain a red shirt. That's what my buddy Kehoe's son did at Michigan. He played in all 3 of the Big Ten and then playoff and then the title game.
Yeah,
he played 4 games because he had a elbow and hamstring injury throughout the year that were just nagging on him, and they held him out for the first 4 or 5 games, and they'd let him play a couple bit, and then they played like a little lesser games and stuff like that, and they're like, we don't really need you. We're going to try and keep your red shirt. I mean, think about that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. No, it's bonkers.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, there's definitely guys I know who seriously are like injured still. I mean, can I trace my back surgeries and stuff like that back to college? I don't know. I mean, I hurt my back in college, but it was a car accident that really did the job, but they really started it during college. Who knows? Guy blows his knee out, doesn't, and then like 10 years later, his knee is so destroyed, he has to have the thing replaced. Is that under workers' comp or is that under his new insurance? I mean, geez, it happened on the job. I mean, that's why you literally had to end your career. I mean, maybe they give you a settlement at the end. I don't know how that, how it works. I mean, they give you a settlement and then they close that book. But then, then you're on the hook for it futurely. Who knows?
Lawyers
stuff,
are going to be kept busy and are going to make a lot of money.
No way. Imagine
in the
that.
coming years.
No way.
We will take a break here. You are listening to our Tuesday edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead Show. We are at Quaker Steak and Lube in State College. It is our favorite place to be. You can come on down, enjoy great lunch. They have the all-you-can-eat wing buffet coming up at 4 o'clock. You can come on down and check that out as well. We're coming right back.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
The State College Spikes are hitting the field all summer long. Enjoy fun, affordable family entertainment as the future of baseball is on display in Happy Valley. Spikes games have something for everyone at the new-look Medler Field at Leblano Park. From great giveaways to fantastic deals, from special appearances to plenty of fireworks, all the way through September 3rd. For tickets, call 814-272-1711 or get the schedule and buy and download at statecollegespikes.com.
Ready to be part of something bigger? Come pave the road to success at Glen O'Habaker and discover a career where your hard work and determination can build a bigger, better future. Our team believes we can build a stronger future together. Join us at Glen O'Habaker, where we value teamwork on the field and on the job. Go to GOHcareers.com to apply. GOHcareers.com. And best of luck to all the Center County sports teams all season long from everyone at Glen O'Habaker.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
The Goon and Ironhead.
We welcome you back here on this Tuesday afternoon at Quaker Steak and Lube, where we are watching some Little League World Series action. Again, the Pennsylvania team set to take the field here in about 25 minutes from now. as they'll have another elimination game this time against the team from Hawaii. Major League Baseball hitting the stretch run. Big couple of weeks for the Phillies, as they can probably pretty well have the potential anyway to pretty well put away the National League East. They'll face the Braves 7 times in the next couple of weeks, including a 3-game series that gets underway this evening
in Atlanta.
The Phils, open up the series in Atlanta tonight with a 7-game lead over the Braves. And the Pittsburgh Pirates are not in first place in their division and are not going to salt anything away over the coming week or weeks. It's fair to say.
Nothing happened, huh? Nothing. No
Been very,
over
very,
the weekend.
Very frustrating. Very, very frustrating.
But you had a good season and a half. Two-thirds of the season was very nice.
And I did not even have to watch the Steelers on Saturday night.
I mean, the Pirates outscored them.
You know, I am seeing. So I do wonder sometimes what folks are thinking the Steelers should have done. Everybody knows you need a quarterback. The Steelers did not have a high draft pick. And so, it's not like Patrick Mahomes was available. Oh, man, I can't believe the Steelers didn't sign Patrick Mahomes. What were they thinking? Right? Like, the guys that are the elite difference makers, that they're not available is the thing. And so, you had the Russell Wilsons and the Justin Fields and the Kirk Cousins. Well, those aren't at this stage of their careers, and based on the track record to this point, none of those guys are guys. I think Fields was worth the rolling the dice. Hey, maybe it's just Chicago. It was an awful situation, but I don't think anybody realistically was like, probably what's going to happen is Fields is going to come in here and just emerge as an elite quarterback, or Russell Wilson, after struggling in Denver, is just going to regain the magic that he had in a Super Bowl year with the Seahawks. Wilson's at toward the end of his career. Fields has had issues with turnovers, and that being said, the Steelers are, once you lose your franchise quarterback, you just have to hope that you're going to get lucky with a draft pick, or that you are able to make one of the blockbuster deals. But it's really hard to do that and be a Super Bowl contender, right? You can't be giving away, let's go get Patrick Mahomes and we'll trade away 6 of our star players. Well, that the math doesn't work in your favor there in terms of creating that championship opportunity. So, I mean, to me, the Steelers did what they had to do. It's not working out, and I was hoping. I thought Fields had a chance to be better, and maybe he still has that chance. And I'm not pinning on Fields either. Right? The offensive line woes are still very much there. I think it is fair to say for the Steelers.
You know what I'm going to ask
That is a good question.
You know what I'm going to say. They're not getting live work. So that game that you're watching out there is their only live work they've had since last year.
Yeah.
So if it's the room to improve is there, or these guys. You said you didn't watch it, so
I didn't. I read all the accounts, and I went back and watched some of the. I don't know if you can really call them highlights.
I want to go back to you about draft day
from the game.
The Steelers' MO has never been to do something like that big. I'm gonna make a big splash here and make a huge trade to move up in the draft. That's never been their thing,
and nor do I think so. So there are some people saying that they think that the Steelers should have done that. And my question is, so what quarterback? Bo Nix has looked terrific, admittedly, but you're telling me I just don't think there was a quarterback there, Caleb Williams included, and they weren't going to trade up. They were not going to give up.
Yep.
Let me put it this
I
way.
know what you're saying.
If they gave up what they would have needed to give up to get that pick,
The one.
you're still not. Yeah, then you are back to not being a championship team.
Yes.
Like that, you're defeating the purpose of why you would move up there. Because I think they have the defense is elite. Like that is when it's healthy, that is one of the best defenses in the National Football League. But you can't go get the guaranteed franchise quarterback without giving up some of those components. I don't think you should do that. So I think the Steelers rightfully are like, all right, we got to figure out our best path forward. And I think this was it. Signing both Wilson and Fields. I mean, what else was there that you're like, yeah, man, if only they had done that, then guaranteed this offense. And, I don't think Matt Canada was a good offensive coordinator. I was not thrilled with the hiring of Arthur Smith, and nothing's happened that gets me jacked up about that hiring to this point either. But I also think this is more than the offensive coordinators. And I'm not thrilled with either of those guys, so I'm not saying I don't think part of the fault is with both of those guys, and certainly with Canada last year. But, I mean, the offensive line has been a sore point for this franchise for several years now. And they lost a franchise quarterback in Roethlisberger, and they didn't have – and, again, not through this part I'm not faulting the franchise because I think they made some moves trying to get that guy, trying to see if Mason Rudolph maybe could develop into that. Nope. Kenny Pickett became a locker room issue as well, which is also part of what I think forced them to go the route they did. But so without having the franchise quarterback, and I don't think they have a franchise quarterback, you have to do what you can to put everything else in place. Again, they have an elite defense. I think they have a good running back room. I think they have a good receiver room, and if they can get Ayuk, which, have you ever seen a deal? I feel like, this back and forth is that's been going on almost as long as we were off the air with the station signal here in our area. I mean, it is like just either make the deal or don't. Like either get it. I don't know. That thing is kind of driving me.
Okay, I want to talk about this real quick.
Yeah.
But Ayuk has a long-term deal with the 49ers on the table.
Yeah.
So if he's looking for that deal, it's there. So there's something else. He doesn't want to play for them.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be he wants to be the one guy. And I think in Pittsburgh, and he wants more money. And the Steelers seem to be willing to do that. And I'm okay with that move, by the way, too. Again, to me, if you're the Steelers right now, you're trying to figure this thing out, knowing that you do not have a franchise quarterback. Like you do not have the next Ben Roethlisberger or the next Patrick Mahomes or the next great quarterback, Josh Allen, that's going to be the guy for the next decade plus. So, but you have, again, that elite defense. I think the special teams, and if you can somehow get the offensive line figured out and then just get adequate play, and especially if they do get Ayuk and he does come in and emerge as, a really top-notch receiver, which I think he is, and not be a distraction in the locker room and all of that, which, fingers crossed, will be the case, then, again, what you need from the quarterback or quarterbacks is don't blow the game. Make good decisions. where I think the Steelers are going to be stuck a little bit is because of the offensive line woes, right? It's like, well, Justin Fields gives us a better option to break a play on, hey, rush is coming in. Like Wilson isn't going to get his escapability is not great at this stage of his career. I do think the decision making, although I don't think it is great. I think, again, the 3rd and long and throwing it 4 yards and getting 5 or 6, that's not great decision making. Like, you got to know when to, and at this stage of your career, if you're Russell Wilson, and I know it's preseason and all that, throw the ball past the yard mark. Give your team a chance to get the first down. Put it in a spot where only your receiver can get it, but give yourself a chance to get the first down rather than, hey, look at that, I completed another pass. Yeah, but you just ended the drive. Like that, how does that help? It doesn't. So don't do that. But I do think Wilson is a better decision maker than Fields. So now it's, well, do you put the better playmaker or the better decision maker out there? And I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is there, or if it depends on, situational football. I don't know. It's
nice.
It's kind of bonkers.
All right. Nice comment there.
That is
pretty nice. So
that is the
first of all, I got to say this: your defense is top notch when TJ Watt's playing, because when he was out last year, they definitely were losing that.
My gosh, no doubt.
Seen this weekend on Twitter was that Philadelphia's already fallen out of love with Kenny Pickett, even if they were ever in love with him. But they said that Matt Canada was held back by Kenny Pickett. It was probably one of the best tweets I've seen in a long time. But definitely, he was held back. He was, he couldn't reach his potential with Kenny Pickett back there. And I don't know. I mean, is it the decision making is better under Wilson, but Fields can make more things happen with his legs, and that's what Wilson does not have part of his game anymore. Not that he was ever like Mike Vick out there or anything like that,
right.
But he was pretty damn. He can make things happen with his legs, and he did. So I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, I think that Tomlin will go with Russell Wilson, the old savvy veteran type of guy, and I think he's going to put the pressure on the offensive line and say, we need this run game. If we don't have this run game, we're done. Take the pressure off the quarterback. You got to be able to run the ball, and it's not like they haven't picked guys to play offensive line. I mean, they have definitely. I mean, losing the center this week hurt. That's going to hurt you guys.
Yep.
Now you're on your backup center type of thing, so that confuses the whole inside. But in the outside, you've done very well drafting over the years on tackles, but have they come back?
Broderick Jones was a hot mess.
Have they come? You've spent picks on them on high draft picks, but are they playing that high? And I do not think so.
And I don't know if that's just bad development or if they just missed on the pick. I mean, everything you read and looked at seemed terrific coming out of college, but boy, it has not panned out in any way, shape,
one of the easy. There's two things. I mean, first round draft picks you got to worry about are they satisfied with being that first round money guy, spending 4 years in the league and just boogieing out and being good with it, or are they the type like an OJ McDuffie type who is going to work their what's off to become the best? He is one of the best, but he wants to be the best.
Yeah,
that's a whole different mindset of people, and some guys don't have that when they get paid a little bit.
Philadelphia Eagles, meanwhile, undefeated through the preseason, Goon. It's dominant. Looking like they are just going to be unstoppable.
Dominant. They got as many losses as the Flyers right now. It's great. So, no, I mean, I'm all good with it. I mean, it's going to go on Jalen Hurts. That's the bottom line. I mean, you have a running game, you have a good receiving core. I have said since they picked up Saquon is the play action game is going to really, really, really pick up, and that is where Jalen Hurts absolutely can destroy you. It's Dak Prescott. If Dak Prescott does not have a threat of a run game for his play action passes, because he throws a great deep ball.
Pretty. Yep.
And if he has to sit back there as a 7-step drop back quarterback and make several different reads and this and that, that's not their game. That is not their game. And I think that Jalen will thrive with Saquon back there. And as you know as well as I do, I can't wait to see Saquon Barkley run the football with an actual offensive line in front of him.
And
I mean,
it is going to be so weird for him.
Oh, sure.
So
like,
strange.
hey, we might give you a fullback a couple plays too. He said, whoa. Come on now. Wait, you're going to give me? You're going to pitch me the ball and give me a head start with a lead blocker.
What happened here? I'm 2 yards past the line of scrimmage, and nobody has hit me yet.
I better stop.
What is going on?
I better stop and let them hit me. Let them catch up to me. But I am very interested in Saquon as a Penn State guy, but also as an Eagles fan. I mean, he's such a good human being, such a good person. You want to see him do well, and you don't want to hear guys, he stinks. Come on, the guy's played his tail off for how long? I mean, we're talking. What 16 was his, 17 was his last year here. So he's 6-7 years into his contract right now, into his year, his career. Pretty good, man.
Yeah, I think he's, if he can stay healthy, knock on wood, but I think he could be a substantial difference maker.
Oh, I hope so, man.
Philadelphia this season.
I hope so. I hope it all works out, but I thought Kenny Pickett would actually thrive a little bit with the Eagles and not having to worry about, because he didn't have a run game and didn't have a great passing game down there. But, I mean, people down there are already just ranting and raving about him and how the guys you used the draft pick on was the linebacker who's playing great right now.
Yep.
Nelson, something like that. I think, but he's the guy that they traded for Pickett, and everybody is like, the Steelers fleeced the Eagles for this because, Pickett may not even make the team, and this guy's going to be a star. He's got it all written all over him. He's making plays in the NFL game a month, and he's making plays up there. So we shall see. There's the other one I'm really, really interested in. That's Tua. Did you see Tua come out yesterday and talk about Flores, the coach?
Yeah. I just don't. I did, and we are Tua fans in our house because of the Mad Turtle. Mad Turtle has a Tua jersey, and we've
can't say a bad word about the guy.
Gravitated toward him. Generally speaking, I just don't think there is a benefit to coming out publicly, especially while you're still in your playing career, and criticizing a coach unless there's like actual abuse occurring. Like, something that was way over the top or is way over the top, that, like, in terms of physical or, bordering on criminal behavior. But if it's I don't like the way this coach did this, or I didn't learn that way. There's all kinds of different coaching styles and coaching personalities. And I think we've talked about this over the years. Like, I don't think there's necessarily a way that definitively works in terms of personality. You have to be organized, and you have to have your team believing in whatever systems you're running. Like, that has to happen. But you've seen coaches be very effective who are very quiet. I mean, a Tony Dungy, a Tom Landry, like, those aren't guys. Cale Sanderson isn't in there screaming at his guys day after day.
Stop it.
But there are guys that have been very effective. So, I've seen people, well, you can't be a scream. Well, yeah, you can. There's all kinds of coaches. And again, there's a wide range. But so, yeah, some guys just aren't going to connect with coaches. I think you have to figure out how to make it work as best you can. But it's one of the things we talk about a lot, like getting the right quarterback with the right coach. And it's the system, it's the personality. Man, we just mesh. Like, that is part of it, right? That's just part of the overall equation. And it's not necessarily, when it doesn't work, it's not necessarily Tua's fault. It's not necessarily Flores's. And sometimes it might be one or the other. It might be a quarterback that just, man, you just won't listen to anybody. You're not coachable. Or it might be a coach that, yeah, you know what, your demands are ridiculous and you're not. So I'm not saying it has to be both, but sometimes it is neither. It's just, man, that our personalities don't mesh, or the system I'm trying to run, you're not the right quarterback for it, or vice versa. And it doesn't work. In college, right, it's a little different, especially now with the transfer portal. It's like, okay, yeah, this guy doesn't work, I'm out of here. Well, the NFL, you're kind of stuck there for the time being, unless the team can move you. But so you got to do what you can, even if it doesn't work, and even if it is truly completely other guy's fault. I just don't know that coming out publicly and saying that you blame the coach is, I don't know that it benefits Tua in any way.
Nope. That's why.
And I don't know that it helps his
why
teammates.
he did it. Why it was said.
Think higher
other
of
than
him.
sitting there saying that maybe it was him saying how much he likes McDaniels and his style
just
of
say you
coaching.
like
Just say
McDaniel, and you're really
you
jiving
don't
with
need
him.
to throw a guy under the bus like that. I mean, this goes back to, remember, he wanted, I think that this goes back to, remember when they were courting Brady?
Oh, yeah.
And he would sit, and if you listen to what he said, I mean, you could tell he did not want him. He wanted Tom Brady as his quarterback.
Yep.
And he was, obviously did as much as he possibly could to make him and the owner make Tom Brady the quarterback there. Obviously, they got fined and punished a hell of a lot to do that. And then for him to hold that over to his head and just constantly keep at him, like, what's the end game of that one? I mean, again, got to read the room here a little bit, I mean, the kid's tough and everybody likes him and this and that. So just like, why do you need to demean him? And then that's from my side as a player. But then there's no reason for Tua to say what he did. It's already gone. It's already over. Everybody's gone. Everybody's on new teams and this and that. And I don't know why he did it. Why he had to say that, other than just for his ego type of thing. And this is why I've been so bad. I haven't been that great and this and that. And I don't know. I just don't see him as that $50 million a year quarterback that they paid him to be the next 5-10 years. And
I don't either. I mean, I'm really hoping it works out for him. I really am.
They could,
but
I mean, he's a play. I mean, he plays a position where he gets hit a lot because he plays the game in a physical way.
He gets hit a lot. He does not have the frame that some of the other guys that take those hits do, and can't absorb them, obviously, the way they can, and hasn't. The cold weather thing is real too, Goon. I'm sorry, to win consistently in the postseason, you have got to be able to withstand the elements.
And it's not just Tua, by the way.
He just hasn't.
You know that the Miami Dolphins' last playoff win up north was the undefeated season of 72 in a playoff game.
It's been a little while. I didn't realize that they hadn't won any game up north since
That's what I was told. That's what I saw. I mean, comments don't lie.
Well, no, if it was...
it's on the internet, too.
Oh, if it was on the internet.
That doesn't lie either.
That's just
but if you put comments on the internet, that's a double positive. That's a guaranteed.
But Tua has struggled in those cold weather situations.
A lot of guys do.
Well, yeah, but I think always, you are better served by keeping your mouth shut regarding past internal conflicts, at least until you get done with your playing career. If you want to write a tell-all book and tell your side of the story after your career is over, okay, that's fine. It's just, it's different but similar with the WNBA stuff with Caitlin Clark, and I'm not following it that closely. I wasn't following it at all, to be perfectly honest. And then I was listening to this wonderful radio station in the State College area, Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox. Check it out if you get the chance. I was listening to that last night, the evening show, and they were talking about why are the WNBA players being so defensive when asked about questions about Caitlin Clark, or like trying to throw her under the bus as though she's doing something wrong. And then so then I did look at it. I'm like, I don't even know what they're talking about. Are people actually doing this? And I mean, they gave a couple of examples, but I'm reading through it. I'm like, yeah, this would be the equivalent of when Tiger Woods was on top of his game and pulling golf along and making golf something that everybody had to watch because, man, you don't want to miss the phenom Tiger Woods. And yeah, Tiger was cashing in on it. Caitlin Clark is cashing in on her fame. But guess what else is happening? Others. The golfers in the PGA Tour recognized, hey, I'm not going to badmouth Tiger. Look at the eyeballs that he's getting on us, look at the person on our event. This is awesome. Why? It is a little confusing why the WNBA players aren't seeing that. There were, and one of the things they were talking about, well, yeah, but these are players that have been around and they don't like, all the attention going to a newcomer. Okay, well, there were golfers that had been on the PGA Tour for 20 years, had major championships, more than Tiger Woods at that point, and then here comes Tiger. Well, they weren't, or am I misremembering? Maybe people were bitching about it. I don't remember these articles on golfers saying, well, why aren't you paying attention to me? I've been here and, look at the players I've been playing with, not Tiger. It's like, well, no.
The only
obviously we recognize the greatness of Tiger Woods and what he's bringing to the table and doing for our game.
Yep.
Whether you like him personally, whether you want him to succeed, whatever, like you at least have to have enough business savvy and personal interest in the stakes involved to say, oh, yeah, man, this is a really good thing for me, to not go out and put them down when they are lifting you up. Again, whether you like it or not, it does not make sense to me, seeing the way that has.
The thing about Tiger when he played,
out.
the guys that complained, they weren't complaining. They played in fear of him. And the announcers talked about how afraid those guys were of him. And you're like, well, the guys were afraid of Michael Jordan too. When you're that good, that's what's going to happen. I'm sorry, man. Yeah. But Caitlin Clark, I mean, it's so unfair. It's a jealousy thing. One is because she has all this, her not being put on the U.S. Olympic team, in my opinion, was just them saying, you know what, we need to bring you down a couple pegs, and which is fine. Yeah, it is what it is. When you can't believe we're talking about the WNBA here, but look, lo and behold, here we are. So they must be doing something right if we're talking about it.
I guess.
I mean, we talk about the WNBA more than we have in the NBA in the last month. And that's the truth. I mean, she's bringing that league. The only thing I don't appreciate about it's like they bring the women from the WNBA game and they bring them through like this red carpet, and they literally got to go and do these like little pregame shots where it's like a red carpet and like they really have to show their outfits off. You're not asking the NBA guys to do that. Like I'm watching the other night, she like walks into the gym, she's getting there, she has to go and stand in this little like makeshift, welcome to Indiana basketball or whatever, and she's just taking pictures and this and that, and then she walks in the locker room. I was like, well, what are we doing? Checking outfits out and seeing what they're wearing before the game, which has always been a thing for the NBA, but you're never asking the NBA guys to go up and do a fashion shoot 2 hours before a game.
Yeah, that's fair. WFXS, Pleasant Gap State College, is what you are listening to. If you are tuned in on the radio, we are coming right back with more of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show from Quaker Steak and Lube.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
The State College Spikes are hitting the field all summer long. Enjoy fun, affordable family entertainment as the future of baseball is on display in Happy Valley. Spikes games have something for everyone at the new-look Medler Field at Leblano Park. From great giveaways to fantastic deals, from special appearances to plenty of fireworks, all the way through September 3rd. For tickets, call 814-272-1711 or get the schedule and buy and download at statecollegespikes.com.
Ready to be part of something bigger? Come pave the road to success at Glen O'Habaker and discover a career where your hard work and determination can build a bigger, better future. Our team believes we can build a stronger future together. Join us at Glen O'Habaker, where we value teamwork on the field and on the job. Go to GOHcareers.com to apply. GOHcareers.com. And best of luck to all the Center County sports teams all season long from everyone at Glen O'Habaker.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
The Goon and Ironhead.
We welcome you back in here on a Tuesday afternoon. It is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. Happy to be back on WFXS, Pleasant Gap State College, also known as Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox. Center County Red Zone returns to the airwaves this Friday night from 7 to 10. We will bounce around from game to game here in Center County, and looking forward to that. We will also have college football and NFL action all throughout the year. We'll have all of the NFL primetime games on Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night, not the silly Friday night game in Brazil because of our Center County Red Zone coverage, but all of the other primetime action we will have throughout the season. Lots of college action on Saturday, and we'll have some other exciting announcements here in terms of additional coverage. Probably on Thursday's show, we'll reveal some of the other things we have.
You're going to be able to play NFL games that are on the NFL Network or Amazon Prime or Peacock. You're allowed to play them on the air.
We'll have the radio feed. Yeah, cool. From those games.
That's what Noble used. Westwood won.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, it's a Noble and Ross Tucker. They do that. I think Ross has moved up to more of a television role, but I don't know if Nobes is going to do the NFL stuff, but maybe get Nobes a couple times, to be honest with you.
That'd be cool.
That's true.
We would love that.
He should be back here. That's so funny, dude. I mean, just a little side note. Brandon's been coaching in Germany for the last 4 months. So he's part of a couple of the different group chains that I have, and I'm like, he might get like a 12 or 15,000 text message when he gets off that plane. I mean, just the amount of he's just in a group with us, so the group hasn't changed. He hasn't answered to any of the texts because he can't. He has Wi-Fi. He doesn't have the texting.
Oh boy!
So I've been talking to him through email and Facebook and stuff like that. But I'm like, dude, you're gonna have 10 to 15,000 texts once that you land that plane in Philadelphia. That's gonna go for 3 days. And I'm just thinking about it, like, wow. Yeah, but he's gonna back here. He'll be back here in a few weeks. I know he and I are talking about doing some different stuff and so much stuff because I just announced today that our players show, which will be on the radio show with you, right?
Yes.
6 to 7 on Monday night. So the Monday after, so Labor Day Monday night at the Penn State Golf Course, we just announced Nick Dawkins will be our first guest. So you got to have
Captain Dawkins.
Yeah, you got to have Chocolate Thunder's kid on there. I just went online. I was online. I was like, you know what? Out of respect. Because, I mean, I'm telling you right now, and I tell Nick this all the time. I'm a little kid, maybe first or second grade. My friend's family brings me down to a Sixers game, and I have told you this story a million times. Like, you don't realize how big basketball players are until you're actually on the same court with them, and it's like unbelievable. Like I say this all the time, and Carrie, it's sort of like Carrie's like, holy crap, I never think about that. LeBron James is taller than me. I mean, I'm the biggest guy in this area, tall-wise and probably size-wise and, you know, head-wise, of course. But what I'm saying is, but that cat's as big as me out there, just fit, jacked up, but on a 6'8", 6'9" frame. That is, you just don't see that.
Yeah.
He just looks normal out there because everybody else is out there from 6'4" to 6'9". So the thing with Daryl Dawkins is my friend's parents had like unbelievable tickets. They were right underneath the basket, maybe 4 or 5 rows deep. You heard everything. Everything. Every curse, every squeak of the stinker hitting the ground, every dunk you hear, but you heard the contact. And you never absolutely have no idea how physical basketball is until like you're down on the ground. If you haven't played it, you don't think it's physical. But back in the day, man, there's some studs back there playing. Some big old boys just wailing on each other. Daryl Dawkins was a monster. 6'10". God rest his soul, by the way. 6'10", like, was talking about going to Kentucky, Kansas, or Florida for hoops. Didn't happen. First ever drafted right out of high school by the Sixers. Just drafted out of high school in the NBA. 17 years old. He's 6'10". He goes up to the NBA. And he is, like, obviously, if you know Nick or talk to Nick, you know where he gets his personality from. And Daryl Dawkins has one of the most bright, funny, hilarious personalities in the history of sports in this country, in my opinion. Gone way too long, but Nick is, I love talking to him. I love telling him those stories. Like, dude, I saw your dad play live when I was in first or second grade, and I still remember it. I mean, Nick's got to feel pretty damn awesome to hear that type of stuff, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So I went online today. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I said, I'm going to get me a Daryl Dawkins throwback jersey. Then, you know, 2 things happened. I saw the price of it.
Yeah.
And for my size, and the price of it for a Mitchell and Ness was, you know, and they're like, guaranteed delivery within 3 weeks. And I'm like, dude, I got 12 days. Damn it. So, fell through. I'm going to spray paint my chest with the big old 53. And I'm glad he went to 53. And I'm not going to say I wore 53 for Daryl Dawkins, but it didn't hurt that Daryl Dawkins was number 53. I already tell you my 53 story. And that was my brothers, 2 oldest brothers who played at Bishop McDevitt in high school in Philadelphia area. Were 53. Buck came here in 83. He wanted 53, but Donnie Graham had already had it. And, you know, it wasn't one of those, you're an offensive lineman. You're just going to go there. They're just going to give you a number, and you're going to live with it, right? So the first day on campus, and he gets 57, so he was number 57 forever. So I come to Penn State 8 years later, and 53 is in my locker. And I was like, Spider, you remembered Buck was 53 in high school? He's like, what? I said, you knew that 53. He goes, oh, yeah. I took care of you. But if you look.
It's the least I could do for you.
If you look how they do the numbering system with football, it was like any offensive, defensive lineman, we just go alphabetically. 51 was open. So Eric Clare was 51. 53 was open, so Keith Conlin was 53. And that's the only reason I got it. But I looked at Spider and said, you remember Buck was 53 in high school? He looked at me and goes, what? Oh, yeah, I got you. I took care of you, Goon. Thanks, buddy. You're my buddy. You're my guy.
Anything to help.
Yeah.
Anything for my Conlin.
So I was telling a story this weekend. Somebody was talking to me. They didn't know who Spider was. Oh, you were there. It was Sherry.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like, in my head, I'm like, there are 52 billion stories about this man out there, and I want to tell you every one of them. That's how much I love that dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely the greatest, man. There's not many people that you talk to them and you don't hear a bad word about them.
True. And
think about that.
Nobody that I'm aware of has ever had anything bad to say about Spider. And you're right. There are not very many people.
Can you imagine the beating a person would take if they talk smack on Spider? Oh, Lordy Dordy. God, do I love him. He's such the man. Always has been, always will be. Just a great, great dude.
Just watching the Big Ten Network, they're previewing the quarterbacks.
Oh,
right now in the Big Ten and how the transfer portal has impacted it.
Quarterback talk there. I mean, I don't want to get into the season yet because I know that we got some time going into the next 3 episodes. We'll be talking about the West Virginia game. But I really think Aller is legit. I truly, truly do.
I do as well, but I also what I think is I think there are 2 things. I agree he's legit.
Yeah. Okay.
I think there are 2 things that are really going to help him take the next step, along with just the experience. And I suspect he has a bit of a chip on his shoulder with what happened in the Ohio State-Michigan games a year ago.
We got to throw Ole Miss in there, too.
But for sure. But I think having gone through that experience and all of that helps. I also really think that the system that Andy Kotelnicki will bring in, and the other thing that I think is fairly critical for Aller to truly take the next step and be like the guy in like Heisman Trophy contender type guy, is the health of Trey Wallace. Because I really think if they can get a big time, if they can get some other guys to produce and be good, but Wallace is the guy that I kind of have targeted as the guy that can, because he showed that type of capability when he was healthy, which just was not very often a year ago. But if he is healthy, I think that Kotelnicki's system, all of the experience and everything else with Aller, and then the other thing that I am just super jazzed about, and I get more jazzed every time I see Kotelnicki comment on Bo Pribula, is I just think there are going to be enough situations where it's like, we're going to throw in this other wrinkle. I think they're going to have some situations. I don't think it's going to be often. I don't think it should be often. But I think you're going to have some situations where, wait a second, that's Drew Aller and Bo Pribula on the field, and Nicholas Singleton on the field, or and Katron Allen on the field. The versatility that I think this offense has at its disposal ought to be exciting beyond belief for Penn State fans. And I really think as this season progresses, I keep talking about it. I love the way this year's schedule plays out. It just feels like all of those intangibles that usually are at best a wash and seemingly more often than not go against Penn State are in Penn State's favor. starting again with the fact that the West Virginia game is a noon kick, not a night game. Just little things like that. It's like, well, man, that's going to be not easy. Not, hey, all right, now it's a gimme cakewalk. No, but that's an easier path. A noon game at Morgantown is just different than a 7:30, 8 o'clock game in Morgantown, as it is anywhere. So I just think there's a lot of little things that play in Penn State's favor. One of the things that I love about the way this season plays out, and I think we were just talking about a little bit off air as we were getting ready for the show today, but you have the game at West Virginia, then you come home, you have the win at home, and home then opener. You have another week to, all right, let's get back and look at the things that
I'm with you,
we really worked.
Just blow it out for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I think then you can
fix.
I think it's a great. I know it's early in the season, and I know that's not the ideal time, but you have the 2 bye weeks this year, so having that one there, I just think also plays in their favor. It's especially when you have a new coordinator and you have the expectations that I think this group has. So, all right, after 2 games, let's alter this. Let's get this grouping out there more. Let's get that individual out there in different spots. I think having just 2 games in, that opportunity to, all right, let's assess everything again. Let's look at everything again. With a mind like Kotelnicki and with an experienced quarterback like Aller and a guy that brings everything that Previola does to the table and everything else that we've talked about, I love the way that plays out and what I think it's going to mean to the long-term success of the program. As always, you need some luck along the way. You need,
everybody does.
If you have injuries, they need to be at the right positions where you have the depth. It needs to be for a short period of time if it's a key player. All of those things. I mean, all of that stuff that no way for anybody to have any idea how any of that's going to play out for anybody. But presuming this team doesn't get struck by just horrendous bad luck, I really do think this season sets up beautifully. Again, it doesn't assure anything, and it's almost a certainty that one of the teams on that schedule is going to be even better than you're thinking they're going to be, whether it's a USC or a Wisconsin or maybe Washington surprise. I mean, it's somebody somewhere.
UCLA?
I think is going to be like, man, I didn't think that was going to be nearly as big of a game or as tough of a game. But even with that, again, just the way the schedule plays out, the way the coaches have approached this season, having the experience of quarterback, again, we don't have the sound on, but the Big Ten Network's talking about the quarterback situation. The fact that Penn State has a returning quarterback who's now been here 3 years, got the starts under his belt last year, I think has a very, very good understanding of what this year's team with this system is trying to accomplish and how he fits into that. All of these are advantages that I think Penn State has over most, if not all, other Big Ten squads. And while Penn State is still young in spots and will have some key players that are underclassmen that will have to contribute, no question. They also have a lot of really good veteran leadership. 6 captains tells you that right off the gate. They had 3 captains a year ago, and I'm not saying in and of itself, well, they have double the leadership from a year ago. But they have a couple of linebackers. I don't think that's insignificant. That linebacker is the position that they have a couple of captains from. KJ Winston, I think, is going to be the next secondary phenom for Penn State. And again, the defense as a whole, I just think is going to be very, very good. I think this offense is going to be exponentially better than it was a year ago. And I think Drew Aller is going to take that next step. And we may not truly know it until we get to the Ohio State game. It's one of those things like we were talking about last year. It's like, well, I'm going to believe when Penn State will beat Ohio State or Michigan when they do it, and they didn't do it. I'm not saying Haller has to go out and beat Ohio State, but we may not. We may know. Again, we'll have to see how some teams, how it shakes out this season by the time Penn State plays some of these teams. But it may not be to the Ohio State game until we find out, hey, has Haller taken that next step in the big games? Because, listen, he looked really, really good all of last season. The stats still look exceptionally good, and he was very good for most of last season. And by the way, he wasn't a disaster. I don't think anybody can rightfully sit here and say, well, if Drew Haller played a little better, then they beat Ohio State and Michigan. No, that wasn't the problem in either of those games. But I think it is fair to say Haller did not step up and meet the moment the way or they would have hoped.
I like what Cider, the running backs coach, Cider, Juan. Yeah. He said you can't expect a first-year quarterback to throw the ball 42 times at Ohio State. We can't get in that position where we have to throw the ball because we're down. You know what I mean? And, no run game whatsoever. So you just leave the run game alone and you just want to – throwing 42 times against Ohio State is a recipe for an absolute slaughter. I think that we're going to learn our lesson from that. And I think that the coaches have, hopefully Coach Nicky comes in here and realizes that and realizes what kind of specialty players we have at running back. And like we talked about, the great thing about having this new offensive coordinator is he's going to get the stars. You get your aces in your places and you get the stars. Get your stars to football and let them make plays. Let them do what they do, and that's make plays. So don't put all the pressure on Haller. You've got two great running backs. An offensive line that's sight unseen. We really don't know yet. We're replacing 3 or 4 starters right now. But I got to ask you, did you see the report that came out of a true freshman All-American team?
Yeah.
And then Cooper Cousins is on. Who the hell is making that team? Because I got one thing I got to say, as a player, more so as a coach, no way you're going to tell everybody, wait, you got to see this freshman come in. He's starting center for us. He's a starting guard for us as a true freshman. He's unbelievable. Or you're going to go in there and no, he doesn't want anybody to know that he's playing that well. That's a secret surprise. Somebody's talking about this kid. But the fact that there is a true freshman All-American team, come on, guys.
It's the era we live in. I hear you. Guys, I don't disagree, but it's
how are you getting this list? Other than just going, they're not watching practice because no one's watching practice. How are they getting these reports? Because the Big Ten Network was there for 45 minutes for a practice, and
although Franklin did say that they pretty much are going to have an 8-man rotation up front, which I do think is interesting, and it goes against a little bit what I always thought growing up, which is that you want 5 guys and you want them to they need to know what each other are doing. I think and you obviously have much more expertise on this front than I do, but I think a couple of things come into play here where the idea when I was growing up and when I was breaking into the broadcast business, with getting the 5 guys starting and knowing what each others are doing, was much more about the run blocking in those days. And it's like, well, a little half step here or there can affect, okay, I know as the pulling guard, I know the center is going to be here, so I know I can break there. Well, this center might take a half step back or a half step forward, that type of thing. But it's much more zone blocking now. Yep. I also think there's more interchangeable parts within the offensive line and just the blocking scheme in general. And the other thing that I think would help Penn State this year in that regard is, again, veteran quarterback who can help the line out. Hey, remember, your check down over here is whatever, or keep an eye out for this. Like in the huddle, quick little reminder, hey, Cooper, we know you're great. Just remember, this is your read here. Or the other, you have a Nick Dawkins who has been around forever and is chomping at the bit for his opportunity, but also willing to give a hand to Cousins. Hey, this is, we recognize talent. And you have two really experienced veteran running backs now who also are kind of chomping at the bit to get back out there and prove themselves. So part of it is, I think, the way the game has evolved. Part of it is, I think, this particular roster. I kind of like the idea of having that 8-man rotation. You usually think of the rotation, or at least I always do, of defensive line. Yeah. But I think it can be effective with all of those things going for Penn State.
It happened with us when I first got here, and Dick Anderson was our O-line coach, and he had been here a while, but then left to go to Rutgers, and then Howie come back, and now he's the offensive line coach again. But he liked getting all 10 guys repetitions. He really did. During the game, where to the point where, he wants to throw you, it might be 3 or 4, a series. Like he might just say 2 guards, let's go. You bring the 2 guards in there, but you're around 3 offensive line starters right then and there. You're giving those kids some valuable experience at those guard positions. Center's a tough one because the quarterbacks usually have their own little feel for the centers and stuff like that. Snap, how he takes a snap. How's this the shotgun snap? Does it come back slow, hard? Is it lazy? Is it whatever? But there's a difference in that, and there's also a difference in with the snap and stuff. But the tackles and guards, you should be okay if you rotate. But he didn't like putting two left tackle, left guard in there, or the right tackle. Right, he would replace the tackle and put them next to starters. Yeah, you know what I mean. So you would get more guys, a lot of experience, and that'd be great to do if you have the ability to do it. Yeah. Now, when I was playing, by the time I was senior and Dick was no longer the coach, my junior and senior year, we were just playing our straight 5 and just going with it because we were always like, why are you pulling us out of the game? You know what I mean? It's like it wasn't like they were messing up. He just wanted to get some more guys, some rotations and stuff like that, which is how he wanted. But our new offensive line coach, Craig Service, he was like, I got my 5 out there. If I need a tackle, I'll throw one of them out there or a guard. Otherwise, these are my guys. Now, we also went right and left, so you only had to learn half the offense. So with that being said, do you understand what I'm saying with the long and short?
I do.
Okay, so the long guard, if you were a left tackle or left guard or right guard, was the same block.
Right.
You know what I mean? You didn't have to because I'm going to tell you one of the hardest things in the world is this. Is if you run a play, you say we're going to run like a sweep to the left, and you're playing left guard, you have a whole different blocking scheme than if you're playing the right guard, the backside guard. And then, every once in a while, you get a guy who's not too bright, and I was this guy for times. I remember some other guys that I know who weren't so bright. And then you would go to the line of scrimmage, and you'd be like, okay, I got to go, sweep to the left. I'm blocking this guy going here and there. Then you got to remember the snap count, and it's just like it does get to you a little bit if you're rotating. If you're popping right guard, left guard, right guard, left guard, right guard, it gets a little weird at times. So I get it. I want to get them in there. I want to get these guys. I mean, what better place? Get out of West Virginia. Throw those kids there early in the game. Let them get their feet wet. Yep. I would say let them pee their pants a little bit. You know what I mean? Let them get smacked around a little bit by a guy. And then you're going to sit there, you're going to go back in the huddle, and you're going to sit there and say, and you've heard me say it when I talk about playing, when you're first, you're so scared. But then you're like, oh, my God, this is really slow. Because you're so very well coached, and you're in tune, and you have confidence in what you're doing, knowing who you're blocking, what you're doing. The game is it slows down 1 million miles, a million times. But until you get to that point, you think it's 1,000,000 miles an hour. And then you play that first couple of plays and you take that hit from that All-American defensive tackle, and you're like, oh, my God, I can't believe I'm blocking this guy. And then to the next play, you're like, I blocked that dude. Like, wow. Yeah. And you're going to get crushed the next play. But, hey, I blocked that guy. And it's a confidence builder. It's hey, I can do this. I'm college football ready. I'm ready to do this. So, and if we have 8, hell yeah. We have 8 that could play on a consistent basis. Yeah. That is fantastic. And that would be a godsend. because of what we had to do in the last few years.
And again, for that group, you have a good test out of the gate with West Virginia.
Not a huge
Then
test.
Right. Yep. And then you get to come home, develop a little more, and then you have that 2 weeks. All right, let's go back and look at what everybody did in these first couple of games. What's working, what isn't working. Maybe this combination we need to change up. Maybe everything's the way we hoped. But I like the fact that they have that extra week early in the season after getting a look at, in particular, the receiving core and the offensive line, but the team overall, and get a feel again for adjustments maybe that need to be made and what maybe they want to focus on for the season moving forward.
Not to be that guy, but if it's not working in those first 2 weeks and you have that bye week, you can make some wholesale changes there. You know what I mean? And the other team's not going to know it. And you're coming back against a Kent State team that it's another nice little, nice little walkthrough type of thing. Let's not get hurt. Let's go out have a good time, make some plays, and isn't that play the game a million miles an hour and go home and drink some beer. And then the next week's Illinois. We got homecoming at Illinois and great tests. You're playing in front of the 1994 Rose Bowl champion, Big Ten title winning national champions. You're going to go out there and play hard.
That was only for the players over 21 that Goon was talking to there, in case there was any confusion.
Oh,
just wanted to make sure everybody knows.
I was 21 when I was 13, I think.
Yeah, I think that's about right. We will take a break here. We are coming right back with more on the Lion Country Goon and Ironhead show here at Quaker Steak and Lube.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
The State College Spikes are hitting the field all summer long. Enjoy fun, affordable family entertainment as the future of baseball is on display in Happy Valley. Spike teams have something for everyone at the new-look Medler Field at Lebrano Park. From great giveaways to fantastic deals, from special appearances to plenty of fireworks, all the way through September 3rd. For tickets, call 814-272-1711 or get the schedule and buy and download at statecollegespikes.com.
Ready to be part of something bigger? Come pave the road to success at Glen O'Habaker and discover a career where your hard work and determination can build a bigger, better future. Our team believes we can build a stronger future together. Join us at Glen O'Habaker, where we value teamwork on the field and on the job. Go to GOHcareers.com to apply. GOHcareers.com. And best of luck to all the Center County sports teams all season long from everyone at Glen O'Habaker.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
The Goon and Ironhead.
We welcome you back in here on this Tuesday afternoon. The all-you-can-eat wing buffet at Quaker Steak and Lube is going to get underway in 22 minutes from now. So come on down and get ready to enjoy. And while you're here, you can check out the Little League World Series. Hawaii right now leading Pennsylvania 2-0, but it's early, Goon. It's early. And yeah, Goon and I both need to get down there. I really was hoping we'd get down this year, the Mad Turtle and I at least, but not sure that's going to happen. Did you watch the Sunday at all? Well, you were away. You were at Hershey Park Saturday. Well, Sunday you're busy. Yeah, I did not see any. So they had the Yankees and the Detroit Lions. I saw Sunday night, but yes, during the day, actually when maybe PA was playing. I think it was. I think Pennsylvania was playing, but they were interviewing some of the players, and Aaron Boone was there, and Judge and stuff like that. And it was so freaking cool watching. That is a great job that they do with bringing those pro teams in there to South Williamsport for that. I mean, you're sitting there, you got the Detroit Tigers and the New York Yankees are flying into Williamsport and they're driving over to the game, and just really cool. And these kids, it's just for the players. Good job by all. And did you see the tweet that the Houston Astros released? I did not. It was a picture of Soto and Aaron Judge talking on a bus with kids from the Little League. And then the Houston Astros said, I wonder if Soto and Judge are hearing stories of what it's like to play in a World Series. Oh, man, I like it. Yeah, I think it could be fake for all I know, but that is hilarious. I was like, that was fine. Good dogging stuff. People. I like it. It was Judge. It may have even been Giancarlo Stanton and Judge, but it was just like, you think they're asking the kids what it's like playing in a World Series. That is. Absolutely loved it. Beautiful. Absolutely loved it. Maybe next year, Jeff, we go down. Yeah, and I did enjoy watching the Yankees lose. I was just kind of a little frosting on the cake Sunday night. It's nice watching the baseball game. If somebody hits a home run, they might hit a house. Good job, Tigers. That's pretty fun. Yeah. Yeah, it was all right. I did like that whole thing. Again, I'm embarrassed and I'm ashamed that I've never done it, only being an hour away. Yeah, it's crazy to me that that I've never gone down, that we haven't. I saw that Dr. Jeff Brown was the MC for the Little League Home Run Derby. Oh, is that right? Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I saw he announced that the other day. I was like, that's great for you, Jeff. That is super cool. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, boy. Yeah, I need Pennsylvania to rally here. Second inning, down 2-0. 2 outs, nobody on. They got this. Let's checking it out. Hawaii's huge, by the way. They got some big boys in that team. Oh! James, little chin music, baby. Franklin and staff will have media availability this evening, so we should get a rash of stories tonight and tomorrow on preseason practice to this point as they make the turn toward the season opener here with West Virginia. And did you see the stuff, Goon? I just I'm with them, and I understand the sentiment, but there are West Virginia players and fans, alumni, upset with the way the ticketing is occurring. There's allegations that, so apparently players get, it's just kind of first come, first serve. You can get a couple of tickets, sideline pass, whatever, for any games, including the big Letterman ones. And former West Virginia players. Former players, okay. Yeah. And but it's first come, first serve basis. And there's at least allegations that this year for the Penn State game, it is not first come, first serve. It is biggest donations in, least donations not so much. From ex-players. From ex-players. And then that sparked the conversation among fans which it's the same. I mean, fans everywhere in the Power Four conferences anyway can relate, which is, hey, the tickets keep going up and we have to make the donations just to be eligible to get the tickets and the parking and on and on. And it was just interesting reading through some of the comments, and it's like, well, yep, this is everywhere though. Like, and the other end of it is, right, if you, as we keep talking about, I mean, people get upset. Wow, it's just about the money. Well, yeah, at the end of the day, yes, if you as a fan are demanding that your team be competitive, you're not happy with James Franklin going 10-2, that's not cutting it, that's not good enough. Well, guess what's needed to take that next step? Well, I don't want to have to keep paying. Well, guess who else is paying that top dollar and even more? Ohio State fans, Alabama fans, Georgia fans, Texas fans. Well, no, we don't want it. We want to compete. We just don't want to pay. Not like those. Well,
I can't say we like it, but it's the way it is.
Correct. You can be not happy about it, and you can complain about it. I'm not even. You obviously have the right to complain. I was just reading a between breaks. Apparently, the new CEO of Starbucks, and I haven't fact checked this. This is just somebody posting, but it just correlates with this. But moved from Chipotle to take over Starbucks, and according to this report, $113 million a year. And it's like, well, this is outrageous. And then somebody chimed in, and this is always the answer. And I got in trouble years ago for pointing this out on a talk show I was doing at the time there. I'm not advocating this. I'm not telling people to boycott Penn State football. I don't think you should. But yeah, guess what your option is? You don't pay. If you don't think that you are getting the right benefit, or if it's just too much money, and that's not an unreasonable position to have. Again, depending on
you don't have it,
right? Then don't go. The nice thing these days are the games are on television. You can go up and tailgate. You can go with a friend, tailgate, and then drive out of the parking lot, split up the parking costs, whatever it may be. And where I'm going with the Starbucks thing, it's like, well, if that truly makes you angry and you want to do something about it, don't go to Starbucks. Don't buy Starbucks. Like that is an option that you always have.
Sure.
And but I think you have to recognize, and again, you don't have to like it. You don't have to support it. You don't have to be part of it. But I do find it mildly amusing that there are people where they'll say, listen, this is outrageous. I'm not paying this. Penn State can't do, and I'm saying Penn State just because we're here. They're saying this everywhere. They're saying it in Alabama. They're saying it in Texas. They're saying it in West Virginia. And the prices are varying at all of these places, the donations required, all of that. Nobody is ever happy with the money that they're paying. Very rarely do you hear somebody say, man,
I should give more.
That is less than I ever thought I should pay for that.
Cut you off.
Very, very rarely does that happen. Yes.
Have you seen next year's home schedule?
For football?
Really bad.
Yes.
And I'm just going to say that if this is not a great season here for us this season, that's going to have ramifications for season tickets next year, in my opinion. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And yes, I have.
It's really bad. There is Nebraska, so I will have that. We have Nebraska and Oregon are the two big ones coming in.
Yeah, and I think the Oregon in particular, I mean, they'll for different reasons, they're both going to be really cool. Matt Roll and all of that is going to be a great storyline. But Oregon coming in is going to be
awesome.
A big deal. Like, that's really a fun opportunity. But I just think I don't want to be one of those people that tell you that you can't have these sky-high expectations. But I do think it is not reasonable to look around, realize that Penn State is in that 10 to 15 neighborhood in terms of the money going into the program and the money being raised from the program. Again, Penn State is very much getting what it pays for and what it's asking from its fan base. Now, I think it's exorbitant what Penn State is asking from its fan base and what they are providing in terms of resources. I do. But I also am realistic, and I'm also looking around, and it's like, well, yeah, I think that's exorbitant. But I recognize and see that Georgia, Alabama, Texas, Ohio State, to name a few, are doing more. They're bringing in more money. They're asking more from their fans. They're paying more to their coaches. They're paying more for their facilities. And lo and behold, what are the programs that are consistently doing better than Penn State? Well, minus Texas in that particular list, by the way, to this point. Well, again, so you can complain about it and just understand that it's if you're going to demand titles, that Penn State should be beating Ohio State as often as not. I think you need to be realistic in what that is going to take. And I don't mean necessarily from you individually, but from the fan base as a whole. And now, I think at some point, this whole thing bursts to some degree. I don't know when that is. It probably, if you had asked me 20 years ago and you gave me the ticket prices now and what you had, I would have told you, nope, that's never going to work. People aren't going to let that fly. Well, they're letting it fly and then some. So I don't know where that point is. Well, it's not the ticket. Well,
it's the incidentals.
Well, see, I don't even think it's. I think it's the combination
Club,
because
the service.
Well, that's not incidentals. That's the Nittany Lion Club is what you have
on
to
the
pay.
Ticket,
So the ticket,
it says $55 on the ticket.
Right, but it's what you have to pay to be allowed to buy the season ticket, the membership that you have to be in. And again, I am not faulting Penn State. I'm not even faulting the system necessarily per se, because the system, to go back to Starbucks, if nobody was buying the $6 coffees and the frou-frou drinks and all of that, right? Like Starbucks isn't doing what they're doing. All of this is happening because, at least to this point, and again, I'm not calling for a revolt or anything, but I'm just telling you that if, Super Bowl prices are, again, absurd. Like, I genuinely, literally can't afford them. I wouldn't, if I wanted to, I couldn't go to a Super Bowl with the ticket prices being what they are. But guess what? There are enough people, companies, individuals that are willing to pay it, that they fill the stadium or at least have all of the seats accounted for. And so they're going to keep charging that. And I know I have the option to watch it on TV, and so I do. So you can say, well, we shouldn't be doing this, but they're doing it. They're filling the stadiums, or at least selling the tickets, and they're getting the prices that they want, and they would probably tell you they need for concessions, for parking, for all of this, to allow for all of the other things that are provided to the football program, to the other athletic programs, and, by the way, the amenities for the fans, the upgrades to Beaver Stadium, the opportunity to tailgate in the fields and the surrounding lots. All of those things are part of it. But yeah, it all costs money, and nobody's happy about having to spend more money or having to make tough decisions about man, I really want to do this. There's, concert prices. My God, when I was a kid, like, it was not a big deal to go to purchase tickets and go to, like, even Philadelphia or Pittsburgh for a concert. Like, I'm not saying it was cheap, but it was, you could do it as a high school or a college kid and get down there, get back.
You're saying the ticket prices are expensive
now? Just a little bit. Little pricey.
No more record sales.
Not only is it pricey,
they have to charge more.
Not only is it pricey, the tickets themselves, like, way more pricey than they were, even when allowing for, the change in the value of the dollar over the years. But parking prices have skyrocketed. All of the, the food, the beer, all of those things, again, even proportionally, are crazy amounts more.
Do you know what I'm saying about the prices of the tickets? The musicians don't have a chance to really make money on sales anymore, right? On record sales or CD sales. So, in my opinion, that's what they have to. They get downloads and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm with
debatable,
you, but it's entertainment. But I mean, it's completely a different freaking world.
But again, if you really want to see whatever show it is, right? It's like, well, yeah, maybe I won't go to the 3 concerts this year, but man, I really want to see.
You wanted to see
your favorite artist. Well, who doesn't? If we have a real recession, Nick writes in, if we have a real recession, college sports will suffer. NIL will be the first thing businesses get rid of, along with their
advertising dollars and stuff. That's the first thing to go. So the advertising dollars first thing to go, and businesses go down, and that's i.e. the NIL. Moon is coming in with some spitting game right now.
Well, hopefully we don't get to test this this belief. I think it is a right belief, but I'm hoping we never.
We all want Colorado and Ohio State to blow up this year. And I don't mean blow up in a good way. I want them to blow up as in, like, wow, we wasted a lot of money and we're never going to do that stupid stuff again because we didn't get what we paid for. If Ohio State goes out and wins the national title this year, it is going to be game on around this country, specifically in the SEC. And that is, wow, this is what they went and did. We can double that. And that's how they would sell it. Ohio State cost $25 million to get their team going this year. Okay, Alabama's going to say, we'll do 50. Come on. Texas A&M's going to sit there and say, we'll do 75, and they'll still lose 7 games. But, yeah. But, I mean, I just don't want to see these teams succeed for that reason, because I think that this could get out of control. Well, you're trying to control the NIL as much as you possibly can. You really are. But it's tough to get Pandora back in that box when she's been out gallivanting around for a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's play one.
Well, we can get back into that on Thursday. I'm not sure how much more can be done, really, in regards to NIL control.
Straight
if
pay
it's
them.
there, it's there. And
but then, you know, I sit there and say, oh, straight pay them. Give them $100,000, 100 kids and this and that. Yeah. But then you still can't restrict them from going out and getting advertising. This is what the problem is. You can't restrict it. And where I say you can restrict it is you got to watch out for the pay for play. And that's the problem coming from outside of the institutions.
Folks, we will be back on Thursday with another edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead Show. Until then, be good and be
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food. Get to Quaker Steak Lube.
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
The State College Spikes are hitting the field all summer long. Enjoy fun, affordable family entertainment as the future of baseball is on display in Happy Valley. Spikes games have something for everyone at the new-look Medler Field at Lebrano Park. From great giveaways to fantastic deals, from special appearances to plenty of fireworks, all the way through September 3rd. For tickets, call 814-272-1711 or get the schedule and buy and download at statecollegespikes.com.
Ready to be part of something bigger? Come pave the road to success at Glen O'Habaker and discover a career where your hard work and determination can build a bigger, better future. Our team believes we can build a stronger future together. Join us at Glen O'Habaker, where we value teamwork on the field and on the job. Go to GOHcareers.com to apply. GOHcareers.com. And best of luck to all the Center County sports teams all season long from everyone at Glen O'Habaker.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
The Goon